Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grounded Football, Tottenham Hotspur. Been a quiet week for us, for a change. But, well, actually, to be honest, with Tottenham, it's never quiet. But, Mark, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate.
Alan?
Bit disappointed with the news that's broken over the last half an hour, or hour. But, yeah, I'm sure we'll have a quick word on that.
Definitely. Alan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not grumpy this time. There you go. I'm all good. Been a bit of a boring week with the internationals, but back to the Premier League this week. And as we'll touch on that, as Mark said, we'll talk about that. Looks like it's going to be a tough game against Newcastle.
Yes, it is. Jacob, how are you, mate? Good week?
I'm all good, mate. How you doing, Ryan?
Not bad. Better internet this week, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I can actually talk to you now, lads, not just get in the comments and throw shit at
You don't
Alan.
seem like you're on the cloud anymore, mate.
You're only a minute in, so don't talk too soon.
I've had to come use someone else's internet, Mark. I refuse to pay my bill. I'll use others. We'll get straight on to the bad news that Mark was talking about anyway. So I'll start with you, Mark. Obviously, Heung-min Son and Brian Hill both look like they've caught COVID. Both out for Newcastle. And obviously 10-day, 2-week isolation. That's not something you want just before this Newcastle game, is it?
Absolutely. It's not ideal. But what's not ideal either is there's a picture where they're all hugging each other, isn't there? And you've got, you got Eric Dyer standing next to him. In front of him, you got Reguilon on the floor. And so, I'm a little bit more concerned of that. If the game will actually go ahead, if those two have got COVID. I don't know. There was a picture with Brian Hill and Reguilon flying back from the Spain game, wasn't there? So, listen, I think this story is going to rumble on. I wait for tomorrow and Sunday, so this might not be the end of it. But yeah, not ideal, especially having Sonny out. So. I know we were joking about earlier, but I just hope those South American trio, when they get back, they at least give us some hope if they are going to play. But there's so many different rumors that they aren't going to play, they will play, they won't, they will. So yeah, not ideal at the moment. Just gives an upper hand to Newcastle at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Alan, do you think that's what Nuno was talking about today? Obviously, he had his press conference about the game, and he did say that we've had problems coming out of the international break that he won't share yet. Obviously, now this news has come out. Do you think they was waiting for the rest? Like Mark said, there was a picture with Son, with Reguilon and Lloris and Dyer and Ndombele.
Yeah.
So do you think that's what he was waiting for before this news come out?
I think so. With a situation like that, you can't jump the gun and just say it's just these two out, and then you get 3 or 4 or 5 others maybe. So I would assume for this news to break shows that it's just them two. Everyone else is tested negative. But that, with everything else, like the others that are out, like from what I'm hearing, Romero, Lo Celso, Sanchez, they're not going to be available. You got Harry Kane, who's not performed this season. Without Son up there as well helping out, it's going to be a very tough game against Newcastle. I predicted a 2-1 when I was being positive on the show the other day, but now this has happened. I'm not so positive anymore. So it's going to be a tough game. I hope we can pull out a result. This will, if all the rumours are true and all the people that are out, this one I'm happy to take a defensive, counter-attacking 1-0 just to get past this game, because you'd hope that the others come back for the second game, like the Argentinian trio, even though I don't want Lo Celso, but Romero, Sanchez, you'd hope that they'd be ready for the next game. But at this moment in time, from what I know of the people that may not be playing this weekend, it's going to be a very tough game, especially with Newcastle, with the new owners. Loving life now. Ashley's gone, so that stadium's going to be well up for it. One sign of weakness for Spurs, and I think that they could easily give us a tonking.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, just like Alan spoke about there, obviously St. James's Park is going to be absolutely bouncing. It's whether you rate him or not as a manager, it's Steve Bruce's 1,000th game in charge as a manager, so he's going to be up for it. He's not going to want to lose that. Like I say, I think they sold out very quickly from the tickets going on, and obviously it's Spurs there to go straight to Newcastle after a £300 billion takeover. Well, I don't know who now has 300 billion, but our main man at the minute, Son, with Kane not firing, obviously not there. Have you changed your prediction from last week?
I'm trying to remember what my prediction was. I don't think it was a positive. I thought that it'd probably be a draw, just because St James's will be bouncing and we've had a good result. Now that we've lost Son and Gill, it's like
I think
while I
you
was listening
went
to
1-1,
you,
Jacob.
was it? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I said 1-1.
Yeah, I thought you said 1-1 last week. Yeah.
And my one, if I'm being honest, I'd have thought that Son would have scored it. You know, Harry Kane, we watched him against England, and I was just like, I don't get it twisted. I understand it, something to do with the City, but after a little while, surely you got to get over that, man. You can't be using the City thing as an excuse anymore. Like that was gone ages ago. So for you to still be playing crap, I think it's a bit more than just the fact that you didn't get your move. It's just you're actually in bad form. I don't know. It's like, you know, they've got key players out as well. There's no Callum Wilson, which, you know, for me, if he was playing, then I think we'd definitely lose. But it's a bit of a concerning one. I think, like Alan said, I think I would be happy for us to play a counter-attacking thing. And I think this is the perfect time now, if Romero's fit, to play the formation that I suggested against Arsenal. Whereas, you know, if Nuno's going to be a defensive coach and he wants us to not concede, which is more important than scoring, and we want to nick 1-0, then you might as well go 5 at the back, have some wing backs that can do whatever they want on the wings, and then just stick Harry Kane up front with Lucas and Dembele behind him. And having Dembele in that means you pretty much tell him, don't worry about defending because we've got so much around you, Ollie, Skip and Højbjerg. So from what I wanted in the North London derby, I think this is the time to do. I'm not saying Newcastle are anywhere the level of sort of Arsenal and any other top team, but just for the fact that they're going to be bouncing, it's like a Newcastle fan, if you said to them, bar somebody that's below you, name a team that you'd love at home, that I reckon a lot of them would say Spurs, because you know they'll bottle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But very, very quickly to touch on that, the Harry Kane's comments in midweek about he's not goal shy because he scored 9 goals. It's been against minnows in the Conference League. Get over yourself and just perform in the league. I don't care what you do against minnows in the Conference League. I want 9 goals in the Premier League by now. He just needs to sort himself out and just go, because he's just. I think the whole City thing's got to him. I really do. I don't see him. I think he's going to be like this for the rest of the season. So I still stand by what I said. January, we need to get rid of him and get a new striker in.
I mean,
we don't even want 9 goals,
God,
mate.
he's grumpy, isn't he?
Oh, go on. Go on, sorry, Mark. Go on.
He wants 9 goals already. I don't think anybody's got 9 goals already. Come on.
No, he said he scored. He said he scored 9 goals already this season, but that's been against minnows. I want him to say, "I've scored 9 goals," and it be in the Premier League rather than the Conference League. He's done nothing.
It's not even 9 goals. It's like if he'd scored all those 9 goals, like you said, but he'd scored 3 in the Premier League, you'd be like, all right, cool, you've scored 12, 3 in the Premier League, a load against minnows, couple of goals for England, let's say. You'd be like, all right, it's not the best start that you've had, but 12 goals in all competitions, okay, but you haven't scored in the you know, Harry Kane's just saying that, trying to get the attention away from himself, because he knows full well that he wants the goals in them games, doesn't he? You know what I mean? He wants to be the Golden Boot winner. You know, Salah's 6 goals ahead. You're not going to catch him now, where it's always about them two, Vardy, you know, Aubameyang, you know, Aguero when he left. It was always about them 5, and he's nowhere near it.
Yeah.
You all right there, Mark?
I was going to ask him that. You all right, Mark?
He's got Ryan's internet, and he's right. He's in Ryan's bedroom, isn't he?
Bloody hell. What are you trying to say?
No, I don't know that, mate.
That's right.
No, he's gone. Look, he's gone now. He's gone. Obviously, my missus. Get off the bloody laptop. No more. Alan, obviously, I know you want Kane gone in the in January, but obviously and I know we are going to get onto the topic that we was going to speak about tonight, ENIC, in a minute, but we are desperate for him to perform on the weekend now, aren't we? With the international break problems we've got.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to step up. He hasn't done it in the league so far this season, so he needs to step up. They're talking about maybe rushing Bergwijn back. I don't necessarily see him as a good enough player for Spurs. I just haven't seen it. But, you know, desperate times calls for desperate measures. So prefer to see him and Lucas. I think Lucas is good to go, and then you know do what you need to do in regards to the other problems we've got. But he does need to perform. I want him gone. Like, I don't care who you are. I mean, thanks for the memories. He's done great for us and all that. But I don't want somebody upsetting the rest of the team, like with this whole I want to leave business and it going dragging on. As soon as somebody wants to go, it's best to get rid of them rather than them staying and dragging the team down. So that's why I want him gone in January. I'm not being salty or saying that he's a bad player, because obviously he's not. But the team is more important. Tottenham is more important than one person.
Yeah, Mark, I can see you. I can see a little smirk on your face. Mark.
Do you know what? In the next 5 games, he just needs to score 12 goals, and everybody will go, "Oh, we love him again. Oh, I don't want him to go anywhere. He's just amazing." Do you know what the worry that I have? And I don't know if you saw some of the highlights, but on the way home, I was watching some of the highlights. Lo Celso, I don't get this kid. I really don't. He goes away from Argentina, and he's the next best thing since sliced bread. In the last 3 games, this guy just pulls trees everywhere he goes for Argentina. He comes back to Spurs and he looks one-dimensional. Is it us? Because clearly there must be a player in him. He can't go away with Argentina. And I know he's got Messi and he's got all Di Maria and all that. But this guy just goes to another level with these guys. He comes back to us and he just looks rank. Yeah. So is it where we playing him? Is it something we doing? Because we get a lot of gifted players and then they turn to crap.
I'm pretty sure Curse has just got it correct. Yeah, it's a curse. We are cursed.
Literally, I was just about to say what Kirsty said is bang on.
So, like, there must be, I don't know, because we've got to do something. We get some gifted players and then we turn them into worse players. So, yeah, I saw last night this guy, he ran, he ran the Argentinian team. And he's going to come back and, when you watch his performances over the last 3 games, I'm like, stick the kid in. He needs to walk into our side if he's going to play like that. But yeah,
you know what I think it is, Mark? I think it's the language. I think he still does not speak English. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
He not?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't speak. I think he can speak obviously broken English. I think he can get by with that. But obviously, when he goes away with Argentina, he's in his comfort zone, and he's with everyone he knows.
I get it, but it's just it amazes me that this kid goes away, and it's twice now he's gone away, and he's pulling up trees. He comes back to us, and it's like he can't even plant them. I don't know. It's baffling when you got gifted players like that. And it's, like you say with Kane, I don't want to get rid of Kane because I know the guy's going to come good. I really do. It's like a cricket. You guys might not follow cricket. I love my cricket as well. You get these players. They can't score. All of a sudden, they score 100. Next thing, they're scoring 10 hundreds. Then they're scoring double hundreds. And it just goes on. So I tell you, he just needs one good game, one goal, 2 goals, and boom, he's on his way. And listen, let it be Sunday where he scores a hat-trick. And I'll be honest, you say it's going to be bouncing in Newcastle. It's going to be absolutely bouncing. We just need to score 2 quick goals, early goals, and we will shut that stadium up. And then everybody will turn on Steve Bruce. They will turn on the players and everything. And you'll see it'll be a horrible, horrible place for them.
That's the main thing. We've got to score 2 quick goals.
Absolutely.
I don't see it.
Well, okay, but that's what we need to do, and that's their mindset. They need to go out, they need to play on the front foot, and boom, catch them very quickly, and you'll change that. That will become a cauldron into a bloody boiling pot, I can tell you now.
Well, talking of boiling pots, this is why we're here tonight, gentlemen. This is what we're talking about. I might have to mute Alan for the next 40 minutes. I might just have to.
This was made for Alan. I've been waiting all day. Like, come on, mate.
Hey, this is made for Alan. The problem is, I think it is just made for Alan.
I want to love Alan. I know I am. I know I'm going to love Alan.
I think you guys are giving me a bad name.
You and Mark might be quiet. When Alan gets going, I don't know if there's going to be any stopping him, which is why I'm going to leave Alan till last. I'm going to let Alan just relax a bit, just feel a bit comfortable. Mark, I need
Alan's
your
gonna smash it, man. I'm telling you.
I need your positivity.
Positivity.
On this. As positive as you can be,
Yeah.
Mark, on ENIC,
Yeah.
Daniel Levy. Tell us,
Okay.
have they done more
Well, the
good for
positive-
this club than bad?
Well, the positive for us is we're a very, 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 very well-run business. You know, there's no chance of us going bankrupt. That's the positive side of it. You know, as a business, and you know, at the end of the day, it is a business still. So that's the positive side. However, and that's the caveat, the negative side is that with all this money we're making from the, did we not have the biggest or the world record profit in 2018 or 2019?
I think it was
we made
2017.
I think we made
Yeah, it was 2017.
146 million pound profit. I don't think any club in the modern era has made that profit in one single year. So did we see any of that money go into the team? Did we see any investment? No, because we're paying for this bloody stadium. Now, you look at our neighbours across the river there, you know, when they built their stadium, you know, how long did it take them before they started coming out and you know, investing in top play? Well, they still don't really do it now. But, you know, I'm no advocate of ENIC, so please don't sit here and say, oh, I love ENIC. I don't. But I got to kind of find the balance of it, you know, and I'm a businessman at heart as well. So you've got to be able to balance the books, because if you don't balance the books, you will go under. And you can't have your cake and eat it. And I understand we are a football club, so, you know, we need to invest in the football. And we have invested in certain things, and they've been bad investments, you know, and we can name a few players that we've spent a lot of money on, and they've just not turned out to be good players. But yeah, I you know, I'm going to agree with what some of the lads say. I might not be as vocal as them, but I do think the ultimate for any business, if you're a football club, is to invest in football. Now, we've got the best of most things: stadium, the best training grounds. We've got even a bloody hotel where people can stay. And, you know, I'm hearing we're renting the hotel out when we don't use it to different teams of different other sports. So I think ENIC has been good in certain ways. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say they haven't. However, you know, I don't think they've invested enough into the team, and I think that could have been that's got to improve.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, when obviously Mark talks about investment, obviously some players are a bit different, some players aren't. But when you think about the players that we could have got, obviously we've been chasing a right back for so long. We've missed out on both Leicester fullbacks, Pereira and Castagne. Then we had Bruno. We could have got Dybala and
Diaz,
Grealish, Ruben Diaz,
Skriniar, Sadio Mane, just goes on.
yes.
I mean, they signed Sissoko over Sadio Mane. Because Mane wanted more wages, they decided to spend 5 million extra on Sissoko just to give him less wages. So they don't. Jacob, give me your opinion on him. Obviously, no, you don't. No filtered, no PG. You're free to say whatever you would like. Alan, relax. Not you yet. Jacob first.
I want to nick Alan's nickname after this, mate. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's not about the investment, it's the lack of planning. You know what I mean? It's like the only time I feel that Tottenham as a club in my life, where I felt that there's been some sort of plan and ideology, was under Poch. And it was nothing to do with Daniel Levy, it was to do with the fact that Poch was allowed to work with Paul Mitchell. And then they got to the point where they had a collaboration, and Paul Mitchell would always find a gem. He'd be like, you know what? We could get him for 10 million. Daniel Levy, if you say, oh, we can get a world-class player potentially for 10 million, he'll definitely give you the money. So Paul Mitchell was never saying to Poch, you know, we need to go and get this player 100 million. It was never going to be the case. But when it's got to the point we've lost Paul Mitchell, it gets to the point it's pretty clear that we need to invest. You know, we lost Vertonghen, we lost Eriksson, Alderweireld's gone now. Dele Alli's still with us, but you might as well call him gone. The only players that survived from that golden generation was Son and Kane, and realistically, Kane should have gone already. Son, we're lucky that he loves Tottenham. Otherwise, that's another player that if he said he wants to go, he could have easily not signed a new deal and left as well. So it is Daniel Levy. There's just so many things he does wrong. He never has a plan, because if you had a plan, you wouldn't go through 7 managers. You'd go through about 4 of them and secure one. 4 is the maximum. If you're going through 7, you didn't have a plan. That's like, effectively, if we base it on what we do, we've all got jobs at the minute. So imagine you're a manager of, in a particular department, and you've got loads of CVs. You interview 7 people, but then you can't figure out of the 7 people that you interviewed which one you want, because you ain't got a plan. If you've got a plan and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to interview 7 people and this is what I want from somebody, you might not get everything, but whoever comes closest, that's who I'm taking. So have you gone through 7 people? And not even if you've gone through 7 people, you actually secured someone that was ready, moving their family over from wherever they were to London to bring this attacking style of football. And then all of a sudden you're like, actually, no, we don't want him because someone else said it. And then we brought in somebody that's a completely different type of manager. So we've gone from somebody that was apparently really attacking to somebody that's Mourinho's little brother. So it's like, if realistically, if you wanted to play the way Nuno does, just keep Mourinho then, because Mourinho will do the same thing and win stuff eventually. Mourinho ain't going to, stay at Tottenham for 4 years and not win anything. And if he stayed at Tottenham for 4 years and won a League Cup or an FA Cup, we've got to be realistic. We'll be all right with that. But then again, you brought in Mourinho and didn't invest. So what was the point? There's no plan. Why bring in Mourinho and not give him no money, and then bring in Nuno and not give him no money? It's like bringing Poch with no money, he smacks it, and then not give him no money. It's like, well, if you don't want to give him no money, then what are we doing then? You just want to find somebody that can bring success with no money, which we all know nowadays, especially with what's happening with Newcastle, that's never going to happen. Effectively, Daniel Levy's running Tottenham and hoping to get lucky. You're not going to get another Poch. You got rid of him. You might have still done it with Poch without no money, but you got rid of him. There's no other coach out there that's going to do that.
No, massively. I mean, Alan, obviously the big thing at the minute is obviously the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust requested a meeting with the board that has been rejected. I mean, does that say everything about these owners at the minute, that they're rejecting to answer the questions that are put in front of them from the Supporters Trust?
It does, because let's be honest, they don't want to answer the questions because they haven't produced. They've produced off the pitch. They've never produced on the pitch. So, of course, they're not going to want to. I mean, let's talk back to when this whole thing, after the whole Super League. Yeah, they never asked us fans what we wanted. They just done it because of the money. And then it all went Pete Tong. And then they decided that, we'll sit down with fans and everything like that. And now it isn't happening. Typical Daniel Levy, typical ENIC, all of them. It's just an absolute joke. But, I'm going to start not a little rant. I'll try and be in bits and bobs. But, so they took over from us in 2001. They originally bought shares from Alan Sugar for around 22 million, and then later on, I think in 2003, they secured the rest of them for about 25 million. With everything else they bought up, I think they spent about under 100 million getting the majority of Spurs. So that's taken us from let's say 200, 300 million valuation. And now the estimated valuation at the moment for us is anywhere between 1.3 billion and 1.8 billion. Business-wise, amazing. They've done brilliant. That's, new training facilities, best stadium in the league, probably one of the best in the world. Absolutely brilliant. That's good. Look at everything they do with the Skywalk and the abseiling, the museums, everything like that to get to garner money in from fans, because us as Spurs fans are a passionate fan base. We will spend that money. Everything they've done is to basically line their own pockets. I have taken PowerPoints. So they've basically done everything.
Yes, we can see you reading, pal.
Yeah. I'm making sure I refer to it because I don't want to miss a single point, because this is me getting off my chest. So they've done everything they can to secure their own financial things. That's what it is. Basically, what they've done off the pitch is to secure their own financial gain off the pitch with ENIC, for them to line their own pockets. That's what the Super League was for. They weren't anything to do with the fans or sorting out us as a club. It was for their own financial gain. That's what that was for. So they have done some good things. So let's do some failings. So Daniel Levy, in 2 years, has not sorted out naming rights to that stadium. That is an absolute joke.
Well said.
I'm pretty sure, as the businessman that he is, one of the best businessmen and all that, like in football, he won an award for like best chairman in 2017, 2018. Are you kidding me? No, I'm sorry. He's absolutely awful as a businessman. Joe Lewis is a tax dodging twat who lives on his boat in the Bahamas to tax dodge and nothing else. He's the 30th richest person in the UK, and he pretty much has created everything off the pitch to invest to bring in more money, and we don't see it on the pitch where it counts. Apparently, according to Daniel Levy, success for Daniel Levy is 13 straight seasons in Europe. That's not good enough for us fans. We want better than that. We want trophies. We want titles. We want the best players playing in the league, and we hardly ever get that because we always buy a second or third choice and try and hope that they get to where they are. The fans get punished because I think we've got the second highest season ticket prices in the league, so fans are expected to pay more. I think it's always been that way. How can you you've got a good stadium, but how can you not have a winning team or a team that's winning titles and ask fans to pay that much for? I'm sorry, that's a bit of a joke. So signings we've missed, obviously, Bruno Fernandes, we got Gedson Fernandes, a joke. Daniel Levy needs to stay away from Daniel Levy needs to stay away from everything football, manage the business side, and just keep away. We wanted Ruben Diaz. I think we got Sanchez. We wanted Jack Grealish, 30 million. We wanted 25. We wouldn't pay 5 million more. Pochettino took us to the closest we've ever been to a title. And when it came to time to reinvest, to maybe challenge or win a title, we didn't invest, which instantly put one of our best managers in my lifetime, put his nose out, caused animosity all the way down the thing, and then he ended up losing. We got Mourinho in, who I wanted, didn't perform, wasn't backed. We've never backed a manager. When have we ever backed a manager? Name your manager we've actually ploughed in, because Pochettino was a perfect storm in what youngsters were there before and his philosophy, and it all worked well. He done wonders with that team, but when it came time to invest and do it on the pitch, it didn't happen. The people that own us are all about making profit, making money. We pay the lowest in wages. Daniel Levy says, it's not sustainable. He said about 6-7 years ago. It's not sustainable paying high wages and all that. The other teams are paying high wages and getting better players and winning titles. It's what football's about. You can spend billions outside to improve, to get more money in for yourselves, but you can't do it into the team. When was the last time we done a Chelsea or a Man City or spent even close to 150 million in the transfer window to compete? It's never happened, and it never will when these people are in charge. And I'm just hoping and praying that at some point we get somebody to come in and just buy them out, because they will never make us challenge. They will never challenge for a Premier League title or win a Premier League title with these people in charge.
No, I mean, just before I go to Mark, obviously we've got a future panelist here, but she is under the weather, so she's just ploughing the comment section. But like she says, ENIC as a whole are and always will be a joke. We cannot blame COVID for the lack of naming rights either. I mean, Mark, obviously, you spoke about it earlier and you said we are a brilliantly run business, but I can agree with you on that. Daniel Levy is a fantastic businessman, brilliant. But with our club at the minute, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, do you see a vision for the players on the pitch, for the club as a whole moving forward? Do you see a vision under these owners?
Well, it's difficult, you got to ask him where his plan was. So he started his plan when he bought it, and his vision was to build the best stadium in London or in the UK, build the best training grounds and everything. Because what was Joe Lewis and his end goal? Maybe like Alan said, maybe it was They invested 300 million in the beginning, and now the club's worth 1.8 billion or 2 billion. That's what investors do. They increase the stock value of any company. That's what they do. That's their ultimate goal. As much as he's a Spurs fan, his ultimate goal is he bought it for 300 million, invested 1 billion to build all these things, and then he sells it for 2.5 billion. If he worked for me, I'd be shaking him on I'd be patting him on the back because he's made me lots of money. But us as fans, that to us is not how we want to see our club. We want to see investment on the field. Look, we have spent some money, which is really poor money since he's taken over. We've bought some players that have really not worked out for us. Now, do we blame Daniel Levy for that, or do we blame the people that work for Tottenham and have brought in these people? Do we blame the managers that couldn't train these players? I agree with Alan, like where he says Bruno Fernandes, we get Jedson. We wanted Ruben Diaz. We didn't get Ruben Diaz. We wanted Jack Grealish. We could he offered him 18 million. When they wanted 28 or something. And
with Jack Grealish, don't you remember when they offered 3 million and Josh Onoma? Yep. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, most probably. I go back to the naming rights though. So what would you rather have? I think he's waiting out, and I think it's been widely publicised. He wants 25 million pounds a year, correct? This is why he bought this big American guy to get top investment. He wants 25 million. Now, we might have been offered 5 million pounds a year. That's why he's not taking it. He's a businessman. He's not going to take that. And I don't disagree. We've got the best stadium in the UK. Why should we accept 5 million pounds for stadium rights? So let him. I've got no problems with the stadium rights. I really don't. If he's holding up for 25 million and he's waiting for Amazon or he's waiting for one of the big boys to come along and do it, I've got no problems with that. That for me has got nothing to do with the money that Joe Lewis has. What's he worth? 5 billion now. He can dig into his pocket and he can put and he could put 1 billion in. He doesn't need the naming rights. But yeah, I do agree. Now is the pinnacle. We've got the stadium, we've got the ground, we've got, like you say, have we got our future manager? I don't believe he's our long-term future. I really don't. And would I love Pochettino back tomorrow to give him another go? Yes, absolutely, I would. And then back him. But now's the time, and I'm hoping, and this is me hoping, we've brought in Paratici now, who's got a bit of experience running and being in that senior position where he sits between the owners and the manager, where he can take kind of control over that. We've had a few signings this season. I'm hoping over the next 2 years you're going to see him turn this around, and that's what I've got to believe, and that's what I've got to trust in. And I don't want to overreact quite yet. But yeah, my patience is wearing thin with ENIC. Although they've given me as a fan some of the best experiences, because I've been to that stadium so many times. It's unbelievable, So I've seen some great matches there as well. I saw us where we beat Man City 1-0 in the Champions League, where Sonny scored. So I've seen some great games there. So I'm not going to bash him as much or bash them as much as Alan does, but yeah, my patience is wearing thinner with them. I want to start seeing them invest now, and now's the next 2 years that they need to. They need to put my faith back into them. What they're trying to do.
Yeah. So can I just come back to a couple of points there, just to think like that? So the naming rights. He's holding out for like 25, 30 million. I think we've been offered on one of the naming rights like 15 to 20 million. So he's refused because he's holding out for the big one. He may not get that big one for another 3 years. In that time, because we've already had 2 years, that's 5 years of 15, 20 million that we're missing out on. And the reason why I want the naming rights is because if we don't invest with the new stadium and all that into the team, they'll go because we haven't got the naming rights. They'll always find an excuse. That's what they always do, these people that own us. They always find an excuse, a reason why they can't and all that. Daniel Levy's culpable for the sacking of Jose Mourinho. I believe he sacked Jose Mourinho because it was the cheapest to to pay him off, because there was no European football, lowest in the league and all that outside of Europe and all that, so he could get rid of him. And then because he wanted to save money, then he didn't find the manager for 70 days, and it took this fiasco to then get Nuno, who at the moment we don't know whether he's going to be a success. He bought him on a small contract, which says to me they've got no plan for the future, because it means with a 2-year contract and not paying him as much that they're looking for a new manager for the future, and that, which means they have no idea where they're going. And Mark saying patience were in Finn and all that, for me, it would warp him, because now we're 20 years of ENIC and all that, and we've got one trophy to show for it. And that, for me, is not good enough. You're trying to be a big team, a big force in England and all that. Quite clearly, off the pitch, good business, but this is football, where you win trophies, you compete at the highest level, and you become champions of Europe, of the league and all that. And we haven't done that. They have failed to deliver us as a football club trophies, and that for me is why this is why I want them gone.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, obviously going on Alan's point there, when you think of Daniel Levy and you think of Joe Lewis, you think of ENIC, do you see the priorities in the completely wrong place? Do you see Daniel Levy's priorities off the pitch? Do you see him obviously making us a wealthy club, sustainable club, an attractive club to investors, rather than a team that can go out, win trophies and please the fans season after season?
For me, with Daniel Levy and the ENIC group, in the nicest way possible, they just feed us fans bullshit. Like all they're bothered about is themselves. And then what they do is they put things in place to let a Spurs fan that isn't ambitious believe it. So it's like, put it this way: how many times have you got annoyed with Spurs, but then we've had one good game, and then one of your friends, or you'll go on a forum and someone's like, "Oh, where's all the Levy haters now?" And it's like, I don't know, we've beat Man United 4-1, and everyone's talking about where's the Levy haters now. Levy didn't beat Man United 4-1. We just played better than them. In the grand scheme of things, Levy, like Alan's alluded to, has won one cup. So if we beat Man United 6-1 at Old Trafford, if we beat Man City, if we got to the Champions League final, did we win anything? No. They're good results. We all know, that Lucas Moura moment, that's like, what an unbelievable moment that was. Like, I remember going in the back garden, sliding on the grass, and my missus was like, "What are you doing?" But the fact of the matter is, if my son's 5 right now, when he's 15 and goes, "Right, Dad, you support Tottenham, what's the greatest moment?" And if he was 15 right now, the greatest moment was us getting to a final. Like, the Lucas Moura moment was better than the Jonathan Woodgate moment, which is stupid. Because we don't, if we're Tottenham Hotspur and we're saying we're trying to get to the echelons of, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool and all that, you've got to be saying that your best moments were cup finals and stuff like that. But our best moments, let's be real, is, Lucas Moura, beating Man City, the Etihad with Eriksen. They're not cup winning moments, because we as a club don't do that. And I don't think Daniel Levy's bothered, because we can all imagine that Daniel Levy will sit there when Lucas Moura done that. He's like, job done, brilliant. That's a cup final win for him, because that's him keeping us fans shut, our mouth shut, sort of thing. It's like he don't. I don't know, man. If you're a Spurs fan, you genuinely believe that Daniel Levy's a Spurs fan, you need to put the crack down, mate, because he's not a Spurs fan. He's a Spurs fan in terms of, yes, thank you for the money, but he's not dealing with the stuff that's going on in the grass. He's not, because realistically, I look at it as like, there was a stage, what I'd say, 5-6 years ago. If you said to anybody in their right mind, who are a better club right now to be pushing for the top 4, and better yet, challenging for the titles, Liverpool or Tottenham? Good 5-6 years ago, everybody would say Tottenham, because we had that nucleus. We had White Lane, we had Moussa Dembele, Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Raw. Liverpool was struggling because they were, attacking wise, they were the best in the league, but then they would have a Lovren or carry us and all this. So it's like, well, end of the day, which team do you think is going to go push? We had 2 title challenges, and then literally it got to the point where we decided, we need a new stadium. Liverpool were like, we'll just extend Anfield from 45,000 to 52,000, and in that time we got worse. Liverpool could have won 2 Champions Leagues and could have won 2 Premier Leagues. They were 1 point off winning the Premier League before winning it the next season, and they got to 2 Champions League finals, where if it weren't for a crap keeper, they would have won both of them as well. But then we are now in the Conference League, while Liverpool are still, you're looking at Liverpool now. I touted them to win the league this season, and everybody was like, you mad? I was like, end of the day, that's the only team that I look at and think, if they don't get no injuries, they're set up nicely. So for me, it's like, how have we been touted as a better team and a better structure set up better than Liverpool 5 years ago? But in that time, they've won a Champions League, a Premier League, and they're still better than us. And to be honest, I reckon we probably spent more money.
They've had a better manager, pal. They've had a better manager. That's it.
We had a manager that was making him look stupid, though, and we got rid of him because he was 14th at some stage.
Sorry, what? You saying Pochettino made Jurgen Klopp look stupid?
Think about it. When we challenged for those 2 titles. No, listen. When we challenged, Leicester and Chelsea.
But
let me finish then. Let me finish. So what I'm saying is, in them 2 title challenges, when we were challenging Leicester and challenging Chelsea, was Jurgen Klopp the manager of Liverpool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll rest my case then. But then, because we didn't give him a chance, Liverpool allowed Jurgen Klopp to get rid of Lovren, get rid of Klavan, get rid of all this dross. They got rid of Coutinho and brought in Alisson and Van Dijk, which we should have done this season. We should have got rid of Harry Kane and brought in positions that we've done. Liverpool have done it the right way with a coach, and they've gone and prospered because they've done everything properly. We, on the other hand, had a manager that was doing better than Jurgen Klopp, and we got rid of him because he was struggling for the first sort of 6-7 games. He got players that we didn't want. There's players that he wanted to sign up, as in Eriksen and Vertonghen, and Daniel Levy's like, no, we don't want to do it. But then all of a sudden we're saying Poch was a worse manager than Klopp. Like, Poch would have probably... literally, Poch put himself in positions that were similar to Jurgen Klopp. The difference is, Jurgen Klopp had a club that was prepared to back him. That's all it was. So they backed him. They're like, oh, Coutinho wants to leave. All right, then, 140 million, you can have that, mate. If we sold Harry Kane this summer, do you honestly think that they would give Nuno 150 million? Behave yourself. He would have given us 50 million, and that would have been enough for 3 defenders, and we would have ended up with Ben Mee.
I mean, Alan, the Super League, the debacle that happened, obviously Tottenham going into a Super League is funny enough as it is, seeing as we've won 1 trophy in 20 years. But do you think that was Daniel Levy's time then? Obviously, ENIC weren't going to leave. You can't just pack your bags and leave the football club as a whole. But Daniel Levy, should he have stepped down from the duties that he's on within? I think the only reason I say that is because he has a lot of input in the footballing side that he clearly knows nothing about. Keep him on the business side of things; he will make you a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the Super League, obviously, what's your take on the Super League now after it's all died down?
Oh, it's the same as it's always been for us. People said, oh, why were Spurs involved in the Super League? They've not won trophies. The Super League was just done by money. So financially, off the pitch, and we're one of the big 6, that's the reason why we were included. It wasn't because of the trophies. Let's go back to the trophy thing. This is how embarrassing it is. And this is why, for me, they're done as a people owning us in 20 years. I think Birmingham, who else? Birmingham, Leicester have won more trophies. Birmingham, Wigan, who else has won the same amount of trophies as us? People like Birmingham and Wigan, Portsmouth, they've won the same amount of trophies as us, 1 trophy each. Portsmouth and Wigan have won 1 FA Cup each, more than what we've won. And we're the same as Birmingham, who beat Arsenal in the League Cup final. Just had to get that in there because it was quite an embarrassing final for them. So for us to win the same amount of trophies as them clubs, no disrespect, we're meant to be one of the biggest clubs in England. It's not good enough. That's why, for me, another reason why they should be gone, because it's just awful. That means they haven't put into the team. With the Super League, it was only a reason, like, done and all that for financial gain. It wasn't anything to do with the fans or wanting that, like, for the fan base, it was for the fans because they didn't ask the question. Nobody asked us Spurs fans what we wanted. It was all done to do with the money. Daniel Levy will not get out this club because I think he owns like 20% or he's got 20% share in the ENIC. So he's set for life as long as 30%. I don't know if it was 20, but basically he's not going to go anywhere as long as ENIC are there. So it's like a thing deal. So we've just got to hope somebody comes in and buys everyone out to go, because that's how long he'll be there for until ENIC are bought out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, thank you everyone for in the comments. Obviously, Tottenham away on about being on the football terrace last year told everyone that the issue is the owners, and everyone needs to stop blaming the managers. Obviously, we've spoken about this already, Mark. Obviously, it is the managers out of all three of them that get the most blame because they're the easiest to get rid of.
Yeah.
But at the start of the season, Mark, obviously Daniel Levy said, we want to hire a manager to play the Tottenham way. We want our DNA back and stuff like that.
Sorry,
He's mugging us off. He's mugging us off because he says that and he goes and gets a manager that plays like Mourinho. So it's like, he's chatting shit.
Our DNA, the Tottenham way. You've won one trophy in 20 years. Piss off with your Tottenham way. That's the type of stuff that really winds me up. He doesn't care about that. He wouldn't know the Tottenham way if it slapped him in the face. Slapped him on his bald arse head of these. Oh, fucking hell.
I need to check my blood pressure, mate. I swear.
No, that's just him wanting to please the fans. Sorry, Mark, go for it. I'm sorry.
Of course, yeah.
I mean myself.
So can I just ask, how many cups have we won since ENIC took over?
One.
One? Yeah.
Only one? When did they take over?
2001. 2008 League Cup.
They took over 2001.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought it was 99. I thought it was 99 or somewhere around there that they started.
That's what I thought as well. So I thought it was two until Alan said it the other week, and I checked it, and he's actually right.
See, this is gonna rumble on and rumble on and rumble on this whole debate. This next season or these next two seasons are going to be pivotal for ENIC. They either going to carry on or they're building up the club to sell us. Somebody comes along and offers them $2 billion. They're going to sell us. Now I'll be honest, Alan. I never heard anybody offering us 15 million because I might have snapped their hand off if they were naming rights for 15 million. I don't know who that was, but that's quite a lot of money to turn down after 10 years. That's 150 million quid. All I've been told is, from what I've heard, is that he was holding out for 25 million. So he wanted 250 million, I think. But I'll hand on heart, I'd never heard about the 15 million one. And if that's true, then maybe more fool him, because you're right. If he waits for 5 years without it, he's lost 75 million. So it's that's stupid. Look, I think we've wasted a lot of money as well. And I'm not just saying it's Daniel Levy. I do think he gets too involved in the footballing side, and I think you're right. I want to believe that he is a Tottenham fan at heart. But that there's an old saying. And I think it's only really worked out for one person at the moment, and that's Roman Abramovich. But you can't be a fan and own a football club. They don't go hand in hand, because you can't make money and have the best team. It doesn't work like that, because you have to keep on investing. And I think he might be a Tottenham fan at heart, and he might have grown up to be a Tottenham fan, and then he's got involved because, am I not mistaken, is he not the son-in-law of Thingy? Lewis. Is he
Yeah,
not?
so his
Is that
godson,
not
isn't
his?
it?
Is that not his? Oh, is it his godson? It's not his daughter that is what's the name? Lewis's daughter that married Daniel Levy. Is it not? I'm not too sure. But I thought he was the son-in-law or something like that. And that's why he heads up Tavistock, or he looks after ENIC and all that. But yeah, I don't think he'll step down. I think he'll be there until we sell it, until somebody comes along, either a Jeff Bezos or another oil-rich country. But let me ask you guys, and I'll flip it on the table. Do you think, and I'm very honest, do you think Newcastle will become one of these major powers in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you honestly think that will happen in Newcastle?
100%.
Yeah,
You
they
think?
will. In 5 to 10 years, they will.
Okay.
Put it this way, I'll give you a stat. I'll give you a stat, Mark.
See,
Yeah, their owner, yeah, is worth that much. That the top 10 owners in the whole of Europe, yeah, if you combine their fortunes together, they still can't compete with Newcastle's owner. So if we looked at Man City, when Man City,
I know the owners because I lived up there for 10 years in Dubai, so I know the Saudi royal family,
okay,
richest family on planet. So I get who they are. I get that. But then on the same hand, apparently the Saudi royal family has nothing to do with Newcastle, and they won't have any input in it apparently, from what everybody's saying, and the Premier League apparently have got that in writing, and that's why Amanda Staveley and the other guy is kind of been put in charge. You know what I mean? But yeah, I personally, you can throw a lot of money at things. I don't think in 5 or 10 years, and this is just me saying it I don't think Newcastle will win the Premier League in 5 or 10 years.
no, they won't not win the Premier League, but they'll definitely be better than Tottenham.
They might be top four. They might be top four from time to time, but I don't see them because. Do you see people like Mbappe and all that going to Newcastle?
No. That's just people chatting rubbish.
Do you see all these? But do you see all these great players? Now maybe if they offered these guys £1 million a year, a week, maybe somebody would be silly enough to go. But do you see these players going there?
Wait, so we're getting into a bit of a hypothetical here. That something that hasn't happened. They've got the money, and it will be, like I said, it will be a progressional thing for Newcastle. They won't be able to buy Mbappe, Haaland, blah, 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 like straight off the bat. It will be a progression over the years, and like later on in the future, they'll be buying, like, they could be buying, like, the Pedris of now who are young, like, stuff like that, just, going up. But it will be a steady climb for Newcastle, but they will be challenging. They've got the money. They've already got the stadium and everything like that. They're going to be challenging, but we're arguing a hypothetical. There's something that ain't going to happen. We're talking about Spurs and everything like that. So we've got a billionaire owner who doesn't put any of his own money into this club. We self-sustain by selling our players to buy in. It's sustainable and good for business, but I don't want all that BS anymore. We've got a stadium. It's good having a great stadium. I want trophies. I want to be able to banter other clubs and say, what have you won in the last 5 years? Oh, we've won this, we won that. I don't want to be able clubs to come to me and say, oh, what have you won? We've done nothing. We've got a new stadium. I want to be able to say we've won trophies, we've won stuff, but we can't do that. And I agree with some of the chats that were put in earlier on. Like back in the day, Alan Sugar was put under immense pressure to leave this club, and he ended up selling. We need to do the same, and the fan base needs to be on the whole, because people that keep putting up with like going to a stadium, showing a new stadium, and all that is great. But when we're not winning anything like that, we've got to show more ambition as a fan base as well to want to win consistently and challenge at the top. And unfortunately, we're not putting that much pressure on them so that they can fob us off with, oh, we'll talk to the fans. We'll talk to the fans and bring them in after the whole thingy. And then when it happens, they're like, no, we can't do that. It's one way or another, they will find a way to just keep turning us away as fans, like pushing us away and all that, while lining their own pockets. And for me, it's not good enough. I don't care anymore. I want these out. I want these people out. I want to win trophies.
I think as well, that a lot of Tottenham fans, I'm not saying anybody in this group because I think we're all level-headed. I think there's a lot of Tottenham fans, that are very like they're not very ambitious. So it's like Daniel Levy knows that majority of our fan base isn't very ambitious. It's like we're a club that in the last 20 years, like you just said, have won as much as Portsmouth, Birmingham City. Who else are we talking about? Wigan. Do you know what I mean? Like, forget Wigan. Wigan have. I'd rather have done what Wigan did than what we've done in that time.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then there's still Tottenham fans, even right now, that will be like, oh, but look at the stadium. But then they don't get it. It's like the business side of it. No one can talk to Daniel Levy. I think I'd go as far as saying no one in Europe can even talk to Daniel Levy about the business and the stuff that he tracks with the NFL and the different type of football pitches that we've got. But what you know, are you expecting 65,000 people to turn up at? Well, I don't even know what the stadium's called now, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You expect everyone to turn up when the stadium hasn't been named properly, and if we're not winning anything, I think Spurs fans in whole will be all right, cool, we're not winning anything. But in that 20 years' time, the only time it's ever felt like we're trying to win something is under Poch. And that's because Poch has had to come out and go, look, you know, do you remember the times where he was throwing the League Cup in the bin and he was going, nah, I'm not taking that serious. I want the Champions League. I want the Premier League. I want the, you know, this. He's dismissing the FA Cup. And we all took the piss. But realistically, if the owners were on the same wavelength as Poch, we probably would have done that.
Yeah.
But Poch was trying to say to Daniel Levy, look, man, I'm not here to play games. These fans deserve more than that. But while Poch was trying to do that and got close on such a crap budget, Daniel Levy's like, but why not the League Cup?
Yeah.
And now that's why we've got Nuno. So we're in the Conference Cup. Nuno's probably taking it seriously. Daniel Levy's like, oh, if we win that, that'd be brilliant. But then 20% of the Tottenham fans are like us, where we're like, well, we want more than that. We was in positions to get more than that. But unfortunately, for a fan base like us, we've got 80% of the people going, but if we win the Conference Cup, a cup's a cup. A cup's a cup, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Get real. Like, for me, if we're going to accept as a fan base that the Conference Cup is something that we want to win, then don't call Tottenham Hotspur a big club then. Because I don't think Aston Villa would be happy with the Conference Cup, but then we all say that, oh, you got relegated. So why, if we're happy with that, then we're not a big club then.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, let's go back to the stadium thing. If some fans are happy with just going to a big stadium and like, oh, we've got a great stadium and all that, I don't want to go to, it's like having a mansion and filling it with a park bench and an Etch-a-Sketch to watch it like as a TV. That, you know, that's what we're doing as a club. You might occasionally put a good piece of furniture in there, like your Harry Kane and your Son, and have to like a really nice bed, comfortable bed. But for me, you have to have both and all that. To have such a good stadium like that, you need a team that's going to be playing good football, playing on the front foot, winning trophies or competing season after season. So Man United have had a fall from grace. You know, they've come down a bit, but they've still won trophies. Arsenal have had the biggest fall from grace of any Premier League club in recent history, like from the top, and they're still winning trophies. And
they can still take the piss out of us.
And that pisses me off more than anything because they do that. Yeah, but we've won an FA Cup. Arteta is God. No, but that's the type of banner we get hit with because we don't win stuff. And for me, that's why enough's enough. We have to just... Well, we have to start winning things.
I tell you what, obviously I've put the link out for us. We've got a neutral fan that's coming. I believe it's a Chelsea fan that's come on to talk about ENIC and Daniel Levy. Nippon, how are you, mate?
Whoa. Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Yes, very good, thank you.
Be nice.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, my second team are Rangers. So I've understood. I know the troubles of having an owner that doesn't care.
Yeah.
I said my second team are Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what it feels like to have an owner that doesn't care. So, yeah, I mean, like, I'd be fuming if I was a Tottenham fan right now. I mean, I literally would.
Like, who's your? It's Chelsea, isn't it? That's who you support.
Yeah. So your second team is like Tottenham, but your first team's all right.
Yeah. So you're. I mean, obviously,
you're living the dream.
I mean, like, we went invincible in Scotland last season.
Yeah.
My second team is Rangers.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the team in Scotland, not not our neighbours.
You're all right then, didn't you? You know what I mean? Chelsea Rangers. Oh, I'll just decide what I'm going to do this weekend.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do?
Look. But yeah, as for your owners, I mean, like I've even had a Man United fan tell me that it's your owners holding you back from being a decent team.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, your owners simply don't care. I mean, if Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis have had half the brain cells us normal beings have, they would have sold Kane to a Man City, to a Real Madrid, to an Inter Milan, as he'd be a good replacement for Lukaku in Italy. But yeah, they've decided to do that. And now you've got a clearly he doesn't want to play for you anymore.
No, yeah, that is bang on. He does not want to play for us anymore. So obviously, going on what Nippon said, Mark, what do you think about? How do you feel about other fans that obviously see what we see, but they just don't care how we care about this club and how we're being run?
Well, I think it's difficult. He talked to me, you know, my son's a Chelsea fan, and I sit and I talk to him about Chelsea. It's difficult when you talk to somebody that's got an owner that's invested over 4 billion into their or 3 billion into their team. You know, they didn't win. You know, before he came along, before Roman Abramovich came along, I think Chelsea fans were even worse than the Tottenham fans. You know, and then their sugar daddy came along, and now they're all happy. But they had their problems as well. Look at Frank Lampard last year. God, there was uproar with Frank Lampard, and he was still spending millions and millions. So, you know, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. I'm not advocating ENIC, but I'm not just going to sit here and go, well, they're the worst owners on the planet. There's a lot of worse owners to have. You know, from a business point of view, these guys have done amazing. And they'll continue to that. And I've got to believe that him bringing this Paratici in now is going to create the divide where, you know, Daniel Levy might take a bit of a more back step when it comes to the footballing decisions. And you're going to actually have somebody that is a proper footballing man start to run the club. And that's what I'm hoping. So he's been there, 4 months? He's got a couple of good signings. Let's give this Paratici now another year, 18 months to see what he can actually do. And if Daniel Levy's going to back him. And if he does, I think you're going to see a different Tottenham.
So I'm sorry, how long do we have to... We've waited 20 years for one trophy and it's good for the business, right? But we're a football club. How many more years do we have to wait to be having a good team to actually win trophies? Another 20? You know, under these people, it's...
Alan, there's 22 teams in the league. Take that league. There's only 7 teams that's won it. You know, so there's still 14 other teams that's won nothing. So it's going to take time. It's like anything. We nearly did it with Poch, okay, over the 5-year period.
How much time?
We nearly did it once with Poch. Over
how much time did it take?
Another 3-4 years, Alan.
How much time did it take for the Leicester owners?
We've got to wait.
How much time did it take for the Leicester owners to win? Leicester owners
3 years? How long did they own it for?
Okay.
3-4 years?
So that's my point. So they can do it in 3 or 4 years. When Abramovich came in, Chelsea done it very quickly. You know, Man United have always been winning trophies.
Alan, sorry. Alan, even the bookies got that one wrong, pal. And bookies don't get anything wrong. They never get things wrong. They had 5,000. They had 5,000 to 1. That's one in a millennium. That will never happen again. That will never happen again.
It's still my point. Still my point.
Sorry, what's your point?
My point is that we've had ENIC and all that for 20 years and won 1 League Cup, right? And we've got to give them other time to get a team together.
Okay.
Leicester's owners came in, and in 3 or 4 years they won the league. So why are we having to wait an extra 20? Why have we waited 2 years plus an extra 3 or 4 season? But they've still done it. They've still done it. I don't care.
No, but that's one in a millennium, Alan. Oh well,
It
no. If
still
you don't want to
happened.
listen, your
But it
mind's
still
made
happened.
up. Okay.
I'm more than happy to listen. I'm more than happy to listen if it's facts. But the fact is that Leicester's owners still won the league after 3 or 4 years, right? 3 or 4
Okay.
years. Oh, what's Ryan putting everyone out? Yeah. So after 3 or 4 years, so it doesn't matter if it was won in the millennium. They've still done what we haven't done. Leicester have won more trophies in the time than we have.
Okay. Okay, so that's one team out of 21, right?
Yeah,
okay. What about Crystal Palace? What about Watford? Hold on. I'm telling you the teams now. I'm telling you the teams.
Yeah. Okay, so you're.
Yeah, but Mike, you're comparing ourselves to Crystal Palace. Then is that you're happy to be compared to that? Then
exactly.
If like I said, you've either got to distinguish.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to. The point is one team called Leicester. The bookies even had them at 5,000 to 1. Nobody. They had the worst odds, and they won it. That was 1 in a million.
Blackburn, then?
Okay.
Come on,
what about
guys.
Blackburn then?
Wait. So
what about Blackburn then?
Wait, exactly. Wait. So, Mark, my point, my opinion is this, and my point is this, right? I chose Leicester as a starting point. Let's go to Chelsea under Abramovich, who put in the money. An owner willing to invest within a season or two started winning stuff. Man City's owners came in within 2 or 3 seasons with an owner wanting to invest. They started winning things. Man United have always been winning things. Arsenal on the decline, still have people that will spend money, not as much as us, but instantly they are winning trophies still above us. And we are sitting there they're sitting at the top with their hand up their arse. I don't know, playing with themselves, doing nothing for this club. We've won 1 trophy. How that doesn't make you irate, like some Tottenham fans, is beyond me. That should make you irate. 1 trophy, and we've got to give them another 3 or 4 seasons to maybe get a team that might win a trophy. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I don't care about that. We've got to start winning things and competing now.
Right, gentlemen. Before we carry on, I just want to thank Nipun for coming on. Thank you very much for your opinion. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
You say, where is he? He looks like he's in the London Underground, but you shouldn't be.
You're on mute. You're on mute, mate. If you unmute yourself.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be like fair. I mean, like at the end of the day, we are rivals, but when it comes to the good of football, we are all in it together.
Yes, very correct. Nipun, thank you very much for coming on.
I was even outside your stadium when you did the protest back in May. Like, I interviewed a few fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Nipun. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have you on again, especially when we play Chelsea. So thank you very much. We've got a comment here from Mark, from Premier Hotspur, that says these owners are shithouses and all they care about is profit and getting as much money as possible. Obviously, we've had a few from Kirst. Obviously, she was very impressed with the eye roll from Alan.
What's sassy eye roll?
She has, and like me, she's been waiting for this. I've had this planned all week. I've been waiting for something like this. But obviously, look, Jacob, you got involved late in it. But what's your thoughts on what Alan and Mark were just talking about? What's your feeling on it?
Before we go, obviously.
Which part?
wait, no. Before we go, me and Mark obviously have different opinions and all that, but it's at the end, it's all love with Tottenham fans and all that. We just, I've got to a point at 20 years, I'm like, I've had enough. That's the reason why I'm venting now. But go back to Jacob, it's fine.
Everyone knows that. Everything that Alan and Mark ever say to each other is literally for the love of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. That is simply it. They don't dislike each other. They don't hate each other. Alan's sassy eye roll doesn't mean anything.
I've got to see the sassy eye roll back. I've got to see it.
Oh God! I mean, Jacob, what do you think then, mate? Like, obviously, there was a lot that Alan and Mark.
In the bar.
It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Everybody's got good valid points. I always say, as a football fan of a club, you're not always going to. You might have some valid points, but you're not always going to be right. But it's like when I've listened to the boys, it's like you know, I get where Mark's coming from in the fact that you know, what have Palace done and all this, but for me, this is what you've got. This is where Daniel Levy's job's important, because he needs to distinguish: are we a club that is competing with the likes of Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea? Are we competing with them, or are we going to be the best of a bad punch and compete with Crystal Palace, Everton, you know, teams that are getting promoted? For me as a Spurs fan, for the last, well, ever since, well, not ever since, I'd say for the last 10 years, I don't know what it is. Because when we were with Poch, it was pretty obvious that Daniel Levy just wanted top four. So when we're competing for titles, it's like he must have thought, "Oh, I've struck gold here." But then take Poch out of the situation, I don't know what's going on, because Martin Jol could have easily finished top four a lot of the seasons, but he never got investment. Harry Redknapp even could have got close to winning the title. I remember there was one time we was in the January transfer window and we were second and we were 2 points off Man City, and we were getting all these players that we could have got, and we ended up with Louis Zaha, who couldn't walk, and Ryan Nelson, who was thinking, oh, I might retire and get a better club.
Yeah. So
it's like, for me, in the grand scheme of things, Daniel Levy, business-wise, brilliant. But in terms of the grass, you get a 3 out of 10, because what are you doing? The only time you've been good for us is where you've got lucky, because when we brought Harry Redknapp in, we brought him in to save relegation, because we were, you know, it got to the point where we were scrapping, and then we ended up finishing 8th, and then he went on leaps and bounds, got us top 4, and then he had Gareth Bale, all that. So there's no way Daniel Levy was bringing in Harry Redknapp thinking this guy can take us from the bottom of the league to winning it. But then it got to a point where we was in a position where you're thinking, even though we had players like Clint Dempsey and all this stuff, it's like, well, I was looking at it thinking we could win it. But then you give us Louis Zaha, so you're like, all right, cool, maybe you don't trust Harry Redknapp because he's a bargain hunter. But then you go and bring in AVB, who's supposed to be the next Mourinho. You got Gareth Bale smashing the grannies out of it. We get to January, and I think we were like 2nd or 3rd. What does he do? He brings in Lewis Holtby. Like, he weren't going to do anything. And then you bring in Pochettino, and you know that if Pochettino didn't smash it, we'd have done the same thing. We'd have just bought in a couple of players and just hoped, finished 5th. A majority of Tottenham fans would be like, oh, well, you know, we can't be finishing 4th because all these other players are spending more money. But luckily, Poch got us to a final. And then 3 months later, the guy thought, yeah, we'll sack him because we're 14th. Like, that alone made me think this guy don't know what he's doing. And then the rest is history. We bring in Mourinho, who's one of the most decorated coaches ever, and you don't give him no money. Like, I could have told you when I was 12, like, if you bring in Mourinho and how much money you're giving him, 50 million, don't do it then. I could have told you that when I was 12, but it's like, this is a fully grown man who apparently he's got this acumen that's massive, brilliant, top notch. How can he make such brilliant decisions business-wise, but when it comes to something like this, even the simple things in football, you can't make a good decision. You can't make a perfect one. Like, we're all Spurs fans. We're all looking at it thinking, right, if Daniel Levy does boom, 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 cool. But he just literally goes off the scale, and we're all like, well, why did he do that? And now we're stuck here with Nuno. When we brought him in, I was seeing loads of Spurs fans saying, oh, Nuno, you know, let's all back him. This guy kept Wolves up last season, but then Tottenham are expecting him to break the top 4. Like, unless you're smoking something that I ain't got in my house, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you think that Nuno was going to take us anywhere than what we're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, before we carry on, let me just double check. Mark, at work tomorrow or off work tomorrow?
No, I'm off.
Right, then we've got time then, boys. We've got time then, boys. If Mark was at work, I would not want to keep him here to go back and forth with Alan, but he's not at work, so why not? I mean, just to clarify, obviously, Kirst was watching the film credits that she told us about. She was seeing which actors and actresses were in the film that she was watching, so she didn't catch the start of the show. But yes, those are the 2 players that have apparently caught COVID and will be out for Newcastle and the next 2 weeks. But Alan, it's hard to say. I mean, all this Kane talk in the summer, obviously it came back to Daniel Levy. Of course it does, with this apparent gentleman's agreement that he had with Harry Kane and all that lot. It's something that we've heard before with Bale to Madrid and Modric after we rejected Chelsea's decision, and Berbatov and Carrick and everyone like that. But how did you see it in the summer with Daniel Levy? How do you think he handled all the Kane stuff?
Typical Daniel Levy style. I mean, why Harry Kane thinks you can have a gentleman's agreement with the devil when it comes to business and all that is beyond me. You know, I think Alex Ferguson once likened doing business with Daniel Levy to worse than hip surgery. You know, that's the level of bit that you're dealing with people. That's what it is. But yeah, so the whole gentleman's agreement in football, any type of business, is not valid. You know, that for me, Harry Kane and his team signing that contract and everything like that without having release clauses on them. Harry Kane, although I dislike Daniel Levy, Harry Kane's got his own part to play in that. You know, you can't go on a gentleman's agreement, you know, and then the team who come in and buy you have to pay the amount that the club's willing to sell you for. So for me, they're both culpable in everything to do with that. But, you know, Daniel Levy's done this with Berbatov, Modric, and they've ended up selling. But I think it's not going to work out this time because, you know, from what we've seen of Harry Kane, I think his value's only going to dip, you know, until a team buys him in January or in the summer where it will probably be. In that time, we won't win any trophies and we'll lose money. Right? We should have sold in the summer. We should have sold early and we should have gone that all out with that, 100, if we had got 130 million, you know, for two top quality strikers, because we were already needing one as a backup. So why not go for two up and comings, like a top quality striker and an up and coming? But we've also got other places that need to be filled. So that money, if you had pushed and said to City, he's yours for 150 million, you could have rebuilt 2 or 3 key areas in that team on top of what we've got now. But Daniel Levy doesn't do that because he doesn't like to lose in business. So for him, he thinks it's a win, but it's only screwing us over at the beginning of this season because Harry Kane's not doing it in the league. And now with players out with COVID and the injuries and stuff like that, or not coming back from that, we've got a severely weakened team against Newcastle. So, yeah, it was a great win against Aston Villa, playing on the front foot, the first one this season, but it looks like it's going to be backed up by a loss to Newcastle because of the severe problems we've got. So it's going to be a poor season, and Daniel Levy's just as culpable as Harry Kane is in that situation, which has a knock-on effect for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, before I go to Mark, Alan, obviously, just picking up on Premier Hotspur's comment here to obviously replying to Jacob, obviously, Nuno's out of his depth. It's all Levy's fault for appointing him and not bringing in Antonio Conte. Does it frustrate you more that you are an avid Nuno out? You don't want Nuno there.
Yeah.
But does it annoy you that you have to scream Nuno out because of Levy's decision-making in the summer?
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong, Nuno done a good job for Wolves, but he's come in and instantly, apart from the one game against Villa where we had to play on the front foot, and I said it was a good result. It annoyed me like even more to do with the Arsenal thing because we played so poorly the week before, but I think that was a performance based on knowing that his job was on the line, you know, in that game. If he was to lose 4 in a row, he could be out. So I think you'll see him revert back to type now for the next couple of games. And then when he gets into trouble, he might put on a performance like that, which annoys me even more. But Daniel Levy, half-assing the whole managerial position, all that. But there's rumours going around about Conte wanting a couple of extra staff, and that's all he wanted, and to be given the money. The reason why we didn't get Conte is because the team don't want to put money into the team like they do with their business and getting more money in their pockets. Conte said, "Give me the money to invest it in the team on the pitch and all that, and I want these other 2 people in." No, it's the reason apparently why we didn't sign Dybala a couple of seasons ago because of his his image rights behind the scenes, an extra 10 million. They didn't want to pay for that. If that's true, then it just goes to prove that they all are about lining their pockets and all that and making a business, but not investing in the team and the team's future in winning trophies. It always everything that they do tells me they don't want to compete and win trophies or invest in a team. They want to buy young and hopefully it turns good like it did under Poch, which happened once in 5, 6 managers, 7 managers, you know, that out of all the time they've been here, or actually even more, we've probably gone through about 15 or 16. But the closest we've got is 1 time out of all their managers, which means that they don't want to. For me, we should have got a progressive manager, somebody who likes to play attacking football for the players we've got. And I think we would have had a better start or a better philosophy. But can anyone actually tell me our style of play on that pitch at the moment? with Nuno.
Yeah, shit. That's it. We've got a shit style. We can all agree there, can't we?
It's not even a style. I mean, against Arsenal, there was the middle of the pitch was vacant. It was like, yep, go on, Arsenal, go through. We'll roll out the carpet. You have a couple of goals on us. You know, it was a bit of sustained attack, counter-attacking against Man City, and we got the win. But against Wolves, we were poor. There was no style of play there. Against Watford, no style of play. Aston Villa looked like a bit of a style of play. You know, good, fast-paced attacking play, moving the ball quickly. But apart from that, what can you actually say our style of play is?
No, it's Mourinho's style of play. It is a watered down Mourinho style of play. But obviously, Mark, going on what Alan said there, I mean, let me ask you, Mark, obviously, you're just like the rest of us. You love Tottenham. You are a huge Tottenham fan. It's a big part of your life. Do you see us evolving as a club at some point after the stadium's paid off and stuff like that? Do you see us putting in the money for the bigger players and challenging even more? Or do you think we're just going to stick to this path now under this ownership until they sell up?
No, I want to believe that we will start investing. You know, he's done something that is not really done before, has he? You know, he's controlled everything. And this is the first time in 20 years where he's brought somebody in that knows more about football than he thinks he knows. That's not saying he will have the final say so. But I think if you're going to bring somebody in like a Paratici, and I'll go back to Paratici because he's only just joined us. But if you go to somebody like a Paratici and you bring somebody like him in, you're going to have to back him. Now, I think the lads know since Poch has left, we've got a lot of dead wood there. And I think it's going to take a couple of, not seasons, but a couple of transfer windows to get rid of some of those. And I still think we've got a couple there that we need to get rid of. And I think we all agree Winks and people like that need to be moved on. And once we start moving them on, we'll start bringing other players in. And I'm sure Paratici's got other names that he's got. You know, we've got Pape Sarr to come in. We've got a few other players. But there's two choices here. They're going to continue or they're going to sell. There's no in betweens. Do I think they're going to invest? I want to believe they're going to invest because if they don't, now that we have the stadium, now that we do have the best training facilities, where else is there to go? Now they've done what they said they were going to do when they first came in, that they were going to build the best stadium. Now they at that critical point where things have to change for me. I'm not as far maybe gone as Alan when he says that's it, they out. I'm not advocating that they're the best, but that's for me. That's half the problem. Half the problem is that Daniel Levy is most probably a Tottenham fan because I'll be honest, I love Tottenham, and if I was running Tottenham, I'd most probably make us bankrupt because I would try to buy Messi. I take out as many loans, and I try to buy Ronaldo, and I would sell all my mansions and my yacht, and I would do that because as a fan, like Alan, like you, Ryan, like Jacob, I want the best players there playing the best football, winning things. Listen, I have to believe, and if I don't believe it, then there's some. Daniel Levy wants to win trophies. I've got to believe he wants, because by him winning trophies, as a businessman, Tottenham becomes more valuable. Simple. If Tottenham wins the next 4 Premier Leagues, he can sell Tottenham Hotspurs for 2.5 billion, 3 billion rather than 1.8 billion. That is just common sense. The more he wins, the more valuable that club is. And if you all agree that Daniel Levy is a businessman and an ultimate businessman, then he wants to win. Because if his end goal is to sell it for the most amount of money he can, by him winning the Premier League, the European Champions League and all that, that makes that club even more valuable than it is now. So I've got to believe that that's what he wants. The way he's going about it, he strikes me as a Tottenham fan that doesn't really know about football. And that's why I hope in bringing Paratici in is going to help our footballing side. And that's what I believe. And that's why I'm going to give it more this season. And let's see how we perform. Give Paratici a couple of seasons where he can get rid of some of the dead wood. We've got rid of a few. Now we need to get rid of some more, and we need to bring a couple of other players in. And let's see how that runs.
Well, Jacob, obviously going off what Mark said, obviously if Daniel Levy's endgame is to sell the club, make a huge profit off it, why is he not putting into the club now to get us to that successful period that brings owners in that wants to buy us? We've got, yes, looking outside the club, you've got the new beautiful stadium that hosts the boxing, the NFL, the rugby, the concerts, and we've got the training ground that allows players to sleep over, and they've got their own separate rooms. But on the pitch, there's never any sustained real. I mean, obviously we've got Ramiro this season. I think he's a brilliant signing, but other than that, he never actually invests to build a successful team. ENIC have got to dip their hands into their pockets, release the dust, release the cobwebs, find that big lump of cash that's in there, and actually throw it on the pitch to a manager, not Nuno, but to a manager that they actually trust in, like an Antonio Conte, if they had got him, and say, here you go, make us successful, win us trophies, get us closer to pro. Even if it took Conte 2-3 years to just say to him, just close that gap to the top of that Premier League. Whatever player you want. Do you see that's all that's holding us back, or do you think there's a lot more behind the scenes?
The only thing that's holding us back, mate, is ENIC and Daniel Levy. Like I said, D Levy, funnily enough, is an acronym for the devil. No matter how you spell devil, somehow you can get devil out of Daniel Levy's name. So if you get Daniel Levy and think, how do you spell devil? D-E-V-I-L. You can get that out of Daniel Levy's full name. So the geezer does not care about anybody, and we all know that the devil deceives. So for me, it's like Daniel Levy is one of the most deceitful chairmen ever, because while he gets his money and, make sure that everybody gets paid in terms of Joe Lewis and everybody else in the ENIC group, he actually there's a lot of deluded Tottenham fans that actually believe that he's actually got the best interests in the club, which he definitely hasn't. So for me, it's like I've gone as far as looking at it like he's been our chairman for 20 years, and if I was looking at Daniel Levy and thinking to myself that this guy, if he ever woke up in the morning and thought, you know what, the Tottenham fans have had enough, man, we've got to look after them. There's never been a period of football where I believe that Daniel Levy's woke up, done that, put some things in place and achieved. Because I think every time Tottenham fans have been happy, he's got lucky. Pochettino, lucky. Martin Jol, lucky. Every time he's actually thought, you know what, let's just sort it out for Tottenham, he's flopped. He brought Mourinho in, and we all thought that Mourinho was going to at least bring us a cup, but then he didn't give him any money. You brought Nuno in, who just survived relegation. You brought Harry Redknapp in, hoping that he would just keep us afloat. I've had enough of him, mate. I had enough of him like 5 years ago. I had enough of him when we had Poch, because I just think when we got to the Champions League final, for instance. Now, I'm not obviously. Hypothetically, you could say this would be the case, but you got to think we played Liverpool, who, in my eyes, I know they lost the league, but they were the best team in the land. That for me, anyway. And we went into a Champions League final with deciding: do we want to play Wanyama or Harry Winks? Realistically, we should have played Wanyama, but then in January we sold Dembele because Daniel Levy wanted his money back. Like, if we'd gone into that final with Dembele, I'm not saying we'd have beat Liverpool, but we'd have had a better chance with a Dembele fit and Wanyama. But instead, we didn't have Dembele as an option because Daniel Levy wanted his 15 million back that he bought him for. That little scenario there, if you are a proper Spurs fan, over the last 10 years, you know that Dembele is arguably, for me, he's been the most influential player we've had over the last 10 years. But then we got rid of him because he had a couple of injury niggles and Daniel Levy wanted his money back. If you can't look at that and register that that's what our chairman does, he's more bothered about money than the fact that we need to progress as a club. Because you wouldn't sell Dembele. Dembele should have retired with us. And Dembele was only asking for 100 grand. He was, what was he, 30 years old? Saying, I want a new contract, 100 grand a year, 3-year deal. Would have took him into the age of 34. So we would have lost him, potentially last year. In this time, we've all been moaning the Spurs fans. We would have had Mourinho, Ryan Mason, but Dembele would have been there the whole time. He obviously would have been declining, but we would have had him. But Daniel Levy was more bothered about getting his 15 million back because this guy had a few injury niggles. Now, that scenario there, if you're backing Daniel Levy over Dembele, then you might as well accept that you want to be a Spurs fan that's as good as Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, obviously, I'll come to you here. Another comment from Premier Hotspur. Obviously, he says, Mark, I agree with giving Paratici time, but he needs a top coach to work with and a chairman to back him and the coach with cash. But unfortunately, that will never happen. So how long do you see Paratici actually seeing that himself? How long do you think it will make him feel like, what a waste of time I'm doing here? Because I'm going to the board with this player and that player and whatever system that he wants and whatever coach he wants to appoint, but he's always been told no.
Well, I've heard a rumour that apparently Nuno was Paratici's choice. I don't know if that's true because we're not behind the scenes, so I can't comment on that. Paratici, I think, can spot talent. He can, spot really good players. So I think he needs time to think like that. But the thing is, he can spot these players and we'll bring in one, like we'd spend money on Romero. The rest will be youngsters who we pay cheap for and hope they turn well, like Hill and Sarr. It's always been the Tottenham way where you'll buy one good player and then the rest will all be for the future. And that's why we don't win titles. That's why we don't challenge, because it's always we'll get there. We'll see how things go in the future. But when we get to the future, we need to invest in the club and work towards the future. We never actually get to where we're meant to be. And that's why Paratici, I think we give him time. He'll bring in good players, but he's always going to be doing it with one arm tied behind his back, like all managers have previously. And he's just going to be another person with one arm tied behind his back as well. Just to go back to a few points, like I wrote a few points down. Just so you know, Mark, you said about opening the wallet for ENIC's wallet to get the cash out. I think you'd find moths in there before you found money. That's never going to happen. To Mark's point about he hopes that they thinks that they'd want to win the league or win trophies because that's how you make the club more valuable. That could have been happening the entire time they've been in charge, but that hasn't been happening. All we've done is worried about a stadium in 20 years. So I honestly don't think they care about that. They care about anything that will be able to benefit them business-wise and the ENIC group as well as an investment. I think that's all they're worried about. In regards to Daniel Levy, if you go back and watch all these videos, in regards to everything he does, like when we're building the stadium, when he gave the thing about who it's best for, he put himself above the Spurs fans. Oh, it's good for me, good for my family, good for whoever else in the club. And then finally, it was for the fans. Every single time you go back and watch videos, everything for him is the fans last. We should be priority, top priority. So, no, you don't put your bald head above us fans. We come first. And then lastly, another thing where they don't care about the fans is when the fans were allowed back into the stadium. And then last season, they didn't put the fans down the bottom. They had that still part of, with all the advertising of everything they had around the bottom, the thing like that. They had that and they stuck the fans up in the gods. That is very disrespectful. The fans should have been allowed to be down by the pitch and by the players, but they stuck them up in the gods because they wanted to keep their advertising for more money because they're money grabbers and that's all they will be.
Yeah, I mean, gentlemen, we're an hour and a half into this now, so I'm going to ask you one last question each. This goes to Kirsty as well in the comments. She can answer this in the comments. She is part of the group. She's part of the therapy gang, so she can answer this in the comments. But Jacob, I'll start with you on this one. 5 years. Where do you see us in 5 years under this ownership?
The same place, deluded. Like, literally, it's just like, I'll admit, as a Spurs fan, ever since Martin Yeo, I'd say, it's just like, you knew that you had, your Arsenals, you had your Man Uniteds, Liverpool, Chelsea, and you always used to think, man, you always used to give you that sense of like belief. You used to think, yeah, we're going to do it this year. And then when you finished fifth, it was like, okay, it's the Tottenham thing. But it's like, since Martin Yole, it's just been that literally the same narrative has been the same. So as long as we've got these owners, I wouldn't go as far as, saying that, we're going to be a bottom half team. We'll still be in the top sort of 7-8, but it's like in the next 5 years, we probably won't have Harry Kane. And even if we do have Harry Kane, he'd be like 33 or something. We won't invest. We won't win anything. And that's it. Like, as much as I'm a Spurs fan, I don't have full belief. Like, all my friends always say to me that, I bet your son's got a Tottenham kit. No. Why not? Because I'd rather him choose, because it's so stressful being a Spurs fan. I don't want to put him through that. You choose who you want. So if he goes and chooses Wolves, there's a handful of teams I'll be like, hold up a minute, none of that. So if he goes Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, and Man United, I'll be like, behave yourself. Anyone else, I'd be like, fair play. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I love Tottenham with all my heart, man. It's just mad though, because even my uncle takes a piss out of me, because when I was growing up, I never used to really like football, but he used to take me over the park playing football. And the reason why I'm left-footed is because he was a Liverpool fan and loved John Barnes so much. But then I just woke up in the morning at some point, watched Gaza, and thought, yeah, actually, I support Tottenham. So it's like, it's just one of those, man. It's just 5 years' time, I reckon there's more chance of it being worse than better.
Yeah, I mean, before I go to Mark on... Oh, no, carry on, Jacob. Sorry, mate.
No, I was going to say, the only thing I think of is that when you look at it right now in the grand scheme of things, you're always thinking we've got to make sure that we're above Arsenal. We've got to try and get as close as we can to your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, all the top sides, even Leicester, we're making sure that we keep away from them, even West Ham now. But it's like, all of a sudden, in the next 5 years, Newcastle, if they do the right thing, they're going to be fully focused on what they need to achieve. So that's another problem. But then while Newcastle are getting all the investment, we're Tottenham going, oh yeah, don't worry about it, we've got a nice stadium.
Yeah, I mean, before I go to Mark on this one, obviously, as well as Cursed, we've got Premier Hotspur TV, who says in 5 years' time, we will be an NFL team and our DNA equals definitely no ambition, which is
like that.
Yeah, that is
I love that.
That might have to
Love
be the name
that.
of our WhatsApp group from now on. Actually, I might have to nick that, to be honest. And
Copyright.
Kirsta's coming with us. She's put in more debt, begging for them to change, even though it will not happen. No Kane for short, no hope and no trophies. We need a change. It needs to happen ASAP. So, Mark, 5 years' time, still hopefully massively doing well on this channel between the four of us in 5 years' time. How do you see Tottenham Hotspur doing in 5 years?
We'll be running Tottenham TV. We'll be on Talk Sport, Sky Sports News, because we've won the Premier League twice.
Oh wow!
5 years' time, and all you guys will be going, do you know what? I wish I was as positive as you 5 years ago, Mark. I don't think Nuno will be our manager, if I'm honest. I don't think he will. I do think we'll have somebody bigger coming in the next 2 years. But, hand on my heart, I think if Paratici stays, I think, I'm trying to look at clubs that have, you talk about where have we invested. Now take the team away. Where have we've built, when you build a house, you have to build a foundation first, and then you have to build so you get to the end goal. Now the end goal is the teams winning all these trophies. I get that. So I think now that we've got the stadium, now we've got the training grounds, I'm going to be a little bit more positive than you guys. I'm going to say in the next 5 years, we will win the Premier League, or I'd like to say 2 FA Cups at least.
Right.
And write it down now. Write it down. And mark it. What year are we in? 2021.
Mark, I promise you, I promise you, if we do that, I will get it tattooed. It's all live on YouTube now, so you can back me on this. If we've won a Premier League, I will get a tattoo.
Go further than that. Go further than that.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Go further than that.
If we win the Premier League in the next 5 years,
so go further.
If we win the Premier League in the next 5 years, I will be bald
I love you, Mark.
I will keep my head bald for a full year.
I will do better than that, Alan. If we win the Premier League in the next 5 years, I will get Mark's face tattooed on my body saying Mark is always right.
Wait, I second that, man. Trust me. I'll be like, Mark there.
We'll all take the pain.
Mark is God.
Yeah, I love that. If we win the Premier League,
Mark is God. Okay.
Mark is God. Okay, there you go. That'll do.
Wait, it's on YouTube now, so
you'll have a handsome tattoo, but that's beside the point. No, I'm going to believe that we've got a good guy in Paratici. I think he's going to take over. I think you're going to see Daniel Levy take a few steps to the side. I do believe we'll get the naming rights, or we will have sold the club and we'll have our sugar daddy that we wanted.
Wow.
You've been sniffing something the same colour as your hair, mate. I don't know how that is not going to happen. I'd love it to. If it did, mate, I'm going to get arrested.
This is a matter of opinion. You have yours, I have mine.
No, of course,
that's what I believe.
I'm not ridiculing you. It's just banter, mate.
That's why we still have. Listen. If everybody on this planet hated ENIC and Levy, we wouldn't have 62,000 fans every weekend going to the stadium.
Agreed.
So everybody has different. Everybody, they did a protest the other day. 25 fans were there. ENIC out. 25 fans. Come on, get more fans going ENIC out.
That's a session. That is.
You want to start. You've got more people sitting on the M25 blocking traffic than you have ENIC out.
Right. So that's only.
So what I'm saying is, no. What I'm saying is, you can't diss my opinion because that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm thinking. You guys are true ENIC outs, true Levy's out. That's fine, and people will accept that. But every week we get 62,000 people. Not everyone is a Levy out fan. And it's not because they don't want to win trophies. They do want to win trophies, But you've got to respect other people's opinions as well. And that's what I believe. And let's see. Okay,
so I do respect other people's opinions, but you're wrong, and you're wrong for a massive reason here, Mark, in regards to the 62,000 people, because it doesn't matter about the ENIC and Levy. The 62,000 fans are there for Tottenham Hotspur and supporting their team. It's nothing to do with ENIC or Levy. It's for the team and the team alone. People go there. Most of them don't give a shit about Levy or ENIC. They go there to support the team on the pitch. Just because they support the team doesn't mean they support Levy and ENIC. You're basically putting it to your point of view there at the moment. So the fans go there to watch the team and for Tottenham Hotspur, not for Levy. They don't go there.
If they hated something. If they hated something and they wanted to make a stand against something, they wouldn't go. They wouldn't pay this kind of money.
They do make stands.
Yeah, but I'll give you an example on that. Alan, I'll help you out here. So, Mark, how many times have you said you hate a woman, but you still go around her house the next day, don't you? How many times have you got pissed off with your missus or an ex-missus and you're like, oh, she does my hair, but then the next day you're going around there with flowers? That's a Tottenham fan for you.
Yeah, so the Tottenham fans are one of the most passionate fans in the league, right? We put up with all the bullshit for years and years and years, and we keep going back because we support the club. We have an undying passion for this club. The fans that go there don't go there wearing tops going, we love ENIC and we love Levy. No, they go there to support the football club. Like, no one player is bigger than that. No manager is bigger than the club. The owners are bigger than the club. It's Tottenham Hotspur first, everything else afterwards. They go there to support the team, not the owners, the team. So let's go to Daniel Levy quickly. Daniel Levy is the person who's most voicing his opinion about Newcastle, how it's not fair and all that. The reason why he's voicing that and all that is because another team's going to go above us because they're going to have owners that spend. And it might actually push him to spend more money and all that. And he doesn't want to do it. He wants to keep it in his little mitts like that and keep his money to him because he's just they're selfish and they don't want to invest massive money into this team. They want to buy small and hope to develop. In 5 years, I don't see us... I don't see
Wait. Whoa, Alan.
Okay.
Don't jump the gun, Alan. Don't jump the gun, Alan.
All right.
I've got hold on, wait. Let me just obviously Kirsten's put 80%.
Subject.
They go to games and leave ENIC art. They go to games to support the club, not the board.
Yeah.
Which she did say 80%. That's a made up stat, which she blamed me for, but she did correctly. She did correct that with the numbers. But, I mean, this is Alan's now 5-year plan. So, Jacob and Mark and me. Alan, feel free to go for
What am I doing on it? Oh, okay. So, its first 5 years plan will be the same as always. Business-wise, getting more money out of the club with naming rights, with whatever else they want to do, golf course, hotels, whatever like that. Invest in the area to bring them in more money. And 5 years from now, it will be the same thing as now. We'll be buying young to develop the team. And then 5 years later, from that, we'll basically have nothing to show for it. And it'll be, let's redevelop the team. That's the 5-year plan that always happens. We came close under Poch. That's the closest we're going to get because it's never going to happen because these people that run us do not back the club enough to put into the pitch to win trophies for the team like they do with everything else business-wise behind the scenes.
Yeah, do you agree with the comment, Alan, about obviously the fans going every week? Obviously, they support Tottenham that much, but they are still keeping ENIC and Levy and everyone in pocket by going and spending the money that they charge.
Exactly, because Spurs fans, like I said, even when we had even White Hart Lane, it was poor under Alan Sugar, but we were still filling out our stadium. Although it was only 36,000, we were still going week in, week out and selling out every week because Tottenham fans love their club. We aren't these like you see in other stadiums with half full and all that because they can't. They've got plastic fans and all that. Spurs fans are glutton for punishment. Basically, they would always show up to support the club because they love their club. And then basically, we still do that now because we put our club first. And unfortunately, it lines their pockets and basically lines their pockets with all the extras that go on in that new stadium now. The NFL brings them in loads of money as well. So does everything else that goes on, the boxing and all that. So they're only getting richer and they're basically doing it for their own gain. And that's what it's going to continue to be. Because unfortunately, people will go there with all these events. They'll go there because they like the events that's going on, like the boxing fans went, NFL fans went, Tottenham games, Tottenham fans who love their club go. Wherever it'll be concerts, you'll get people who want to go to the concerts, like whoever has the concert there first. You'll get fans who want to go there, and it will just make Tottenham make a money hand over fist. And they're laughing because their investment's gone up massively compared to what it was, and it will only continue to go up because they've done something genius and built a great stadium to bring in income, but we don't see that income going to the team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, gentlemen, thank you very much for tonight. An hour and 47, going on 48 minutes. Like I said, we could go on all night about this, but we're going to cut it there. I mean, from now on, gents, I have got something for, obviously, before I tell you, obviously, another comment from Premier Hotspur. If you love your club, then you got to stand up to these owners because this board are rubbing their hands with people still spending, which is
100%
definitely true. But after Mark's prediction, and Alan's actually, I keep forgetting Alan predicted the Villa win as well. I do keep forgetting that. But after the prediction, between the four of us and Kirst, I'm going to do a prediction chart with all of us. Every game, every Premier League game, the person with the most points at the end of that, I will personally reward with something at the end of it. It's not, don't worry, it's not like a pack of Haribos or anything like that.
Share Nick and Tottenham Hotspur to get rich like they do. I love it.
Yes, exactly. I will personally reward somebody at the end. Like I said, it's not. I will not go out and buy you a Dib Dab or a Haribo or a pack of Maltese. It will be something that you enjoy. Not a car, like not that high up, not as much as a car, but I will buy you something. And next week we will discuss the Newcastle game, but also for 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, I want the three of you, as well as myself, to give me your all-time Spurs 11. Oh, you've got a week to
man,
think.
I could do that right now. I could. I always think about that all the time. I always think about
what's the rules?
But is that players?
Yeah,
is that players we've seen?
Yeah, just the players you've seen. Just
Premier League era, is it? Just Premier League era?
No. Just players you've seen, whether it was before the
Mark's
Premier League.
Is going to be definitely different to me and Alan.
So obviously, I've seen a lot more than you guys.
Yeah, he's got
players
to choose from.
That's exactly. Like I say, I can't pick a Huddle because I've never seen Huddle play or anything.
Oh, I
can pick a Premier League, and then at least everybody's going to leave.
I can pick a Huddle.
This isn't fair. We need to renew.
Mark, I can pick a Huddle.
No, you see, because I
can pick a Huddle. I can pick a Huddle.
I personally I want to hear Mark's team. So obviously, even
by the way, Ryan.
Yes, Mark.
Oh, bless Kirsty.
She
can't even pick Harry Kane.
Go with Pochettino's first 11. That's what she's going to go with. Pretty much.
Kirsty's 22. She can't even pick Modric.
She's going to have to pick Scarlett.
She could Modric play.
No, she
I'm joking, man.
So we have got a lot.
Ryan, just going back. Ryan, just going back on the score predictions. We started with Villa, didn't we?
No, Mark. We're starting this week, not Villa.
Oh, so have we done Newcastle?
Oh no, I thought we started with Villa.
No, I'm afraid not. And if you get Newcastle right, we'll start from the weekend after as well. We'll just keep going until everyone's wrong.
That's it, yeah.
So, very quickly, gentlemen. Alan, what's your prediction for the weekend?
2-1 Spurs. I've got to be positive, but I think with everyone that's out, I think I need to revisit that. But no, I'm going to stick positive. 2-1.
Yep, that is exactly the same as Kirst. Mark, what's your prediction?
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go 3-0. I think we're going to thrash them.
3-0. I'll tell you what, Mark. If I had your positivity, I could rule the world with your positivity, Mark.
I need to get some of what he's been sniffing tonight. That is amazing.
Life, pal. Life. Just life.
Lights, lad.
Jacob, what's your prediction, mate?
3-1 Newcastle. Yeah, real talk. Only because there's no Son, there's no Gill. I want to go 3 at the back. We're going to go 2 at the back. Somehow Romero won't be playing, and then somehow we'll have Dele Alli playing as well. So I'm quite confident with Newcastle bouncing and Alan Maximum running riot. Somehow I'll go as far as saying we're going to lose 3-1 and Joe Leaton will score again. I'm not confident.
You'll see Romero will play.
I'd have had a little bit of you got to think. I thought it was 1-1 with a full strength. So now that we've got no Son and no Gill, who for me are the 2 most exciting players for me at the minute. Now I didn't know about that bad news till you boys told me. So yeah, 3-1 Newcastle.
Yeah. Premier Hotspur TV unfortunately isn't in this. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up at this prize. He's going for a 2-1 Newcastle. I'd personally go for a 1-1 draw. So just to obviously, before we actually get into it, just to let you all know, it is 3 points for the exact score you get. You get a point if you go for a 2-1 Tottenham win and it's a 1-0 Tottenham win or whatever it is. Yeah. And obviously no points.
Well, if you get the correct result, yeah.
If you get the correct result, it's 3 points. If you get just the Tottenham win, it's 1 point, or the Tottenham loss, it's 1 point. Yeah.
It's like Super 6 sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, like I say, each of you could win a lovely multi-pack of Doritos after this. So keep trying.
My guy.
Well, thank you very much. Alan, do you want to let us know where we can find you, mate?
Yep, you can find me every Friday night on Here Turn Out with Mark.
You can find me on Twitter, Alan Arclight3. I'm also on the Football Terrace after most Tottenham games. You can find me on Igal's channel, prediction show on Igal EGTV, doing a prediction show every week. And I am also joining a other Spurs panel show every other week on like every other Thursday as well. So that's where you can find me. I've just got to wait for that one to come out. Stop shaking your head, Ryan.
I don't know why you keep thinking this, Alan. I don't know why you keep thinking you can work Thursdays as well. We need you rested, ready for Mark on a Friday. We don't need you up late on a Thursday.
I'm Daniel Levy. I'm putting my my eggs everywhere so I can get more.
Oh, God. Thank you, Alan. Mark, do you want to let us know where everyone can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Sky Sports Talk Radio. You can find me on Bean Sports from time to time. And then a little show called Grounded Tottenham from time to time. You can see me there where you catch me at low. Yeah, I come and see you guys. This is my loyalty, you know. This is where I have my medicine on all Tottenham. So, yeah, you can find me on Twitter on Jalin's but yeah, that's as far as I go at the moment, you know. So, yeah, hit me up. Yeah, it's great to get to have an opinion and a voice, you know.
Definitely. Thank you as always, Mark. We have saved. If you check the WhatsApp group after this, Mark, you will find Kirst has saved a video of you and Alan bickering and put it in the WhatsApp group. So
I got to see the sassy eye roll.
Jacob,
awesome. Yeah, Kirsty, do the sassy eye roll. I want to see the sassy eye roll.
Yeah, if you will. Yeah, you can find me hating Daniel Levy, and you can find me on this Grounded Tottenham. You know, thankful that they've given us a platform, and I'm always floating around Twitter here and there and Instagram. So the likes down below. At some point when I can, I'll get something on there. But for now, you just, you know, if you want to hear my opinion, catch me on here.
Thank you very much. You can catch me at Ryan Madden 1991 on Twitter and here every Friday. And don't forget, obviously, we have got a panelist behind the scenes. We're just waiting for her debut. I still think she's waiting for that payout. I still think that she wants that big signing on fee. But if you want to follow her, it's at THFC Kirst on Twitter. It's a YouTube channel as well. Gentlemen, start thinking of your teams. Let's hope your predictions are right for the weekend, Bar Jacobs.
Bar Jacobs, yeah.
Bar Jacobs.
And yours.
Yeah.
I would love to be wrong, but I don't think I will be.
And I would love mine to be right.
Well, I'll catch you all at half past. I'll catch you all at 6:30 on Sunday evening when you're going, oh God, Mark's right again.
I'm predicting the Spurs, but everyone forgets about me because Brian's got everyone believing I'm grumpy.
Mark's going to be in the WhatsApp group like this, isn't he? He's going to be like, "Told you, boys."
I predict the huddle.
Yes.
Thank you. We will leave on Kirst's comment here. 3 points. Here we come. Let's hope so, boys. Until next Friday. See you next Friday, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.